All right, so glittering generalities. This is just what she says, name calling reverse. So name calling is bad names, labeling people or things with bad names. Glittering generalities is when you give them good names or virtue words. So again, we're still talking about people, ideas, objects, anything. So as soon as somebody starts, putting all those positive adjectives and phrases, right, you need to stop and say, well, wait a second. Why is that relevant, or is that relevant? So here are some, the American way, the constitutional rights, our Christian heritage, it's our American birthright, right? So again, those are supposed to be, positive things. Now, for some people, they might not be positive, right? But again, for the intent might be to make us, see something in terms of its label and not actually stop and ask, well, wait a second, what is our American birthright, right? Plain folk appeal. This is where the person wants us to trust them, believe them, vote for them, whatever, because they're just a regular Joe, right? And so you can see, it's like when politicians, flip pancakes for their constituents trying to earn their vote, right? It's not because they love to flip pancakes. It's because they want to say, hey, look, see, I'm a normal person just like you. I eat flapjacks. I can use a ladle and a griddle, right? So again, anytime someone is trying to appeal to you by saying, trust me because I'm just an ordinary guy, then you have to say, well, wait a second. Is that true, first of all? But second, you have to ask yourself, well, is that even relevant? Because I don't know about you, but I've lived next door to ordinary guys. My family is full of just plain folk, and yet there are people I wouldn't trust any farther than I could throw them. Just because you're plain folk, just because you grew up paycheck to paycheck, working hard and that kind of stuff, just because you drive a pickup and wear a flannel shirt or whatever, that doesn't mean that you're a good person. That doesn't mean you're qualified to be, a senator or a teacher or the person who invests my money, right? So again, why are they trying to make us like them on this basis, and is it any way relevant? The argument ad populum, also known as stroking, this is where you basically get your readers to like you by liking them. You either compliment them, say nice things about them, about their kids, that kind of stuff, or you appeal to the things that they like themselves, right? So you can see here that the hardworking taxpayers, right? Or you guys are the most generous, free-spirited nation in the world, right? When people start talking about that, right? It's like the Dos Equis commercial, right? The most interesting man in the world. We're supposed to say, yeah, if you drink Dos Equis, then you're just like the most interesting man in the world, right? No, that's not true. That's just propaganda, right? So again, here it is. The intent here is to sidetrack us from critically thinking about the man and his ideas. Our own good qualities have nothing to do with the issue at hand. So again, when you have to say, well, apart from all of that, apart from you liking the way I dress or where I live or whatever, what is the merit to what this person is trying to sell me? Because that's what it all is about. You're trying to sell me. They're trying to sell you themselves as a candidate or something. They're trying to sell an idea. They're trying to sell an object, right? So again, putting everything else aside, what are the facts? What is reality? Is this really good for me? Argument ad hominem means argument to the man, and this is basically mudslinging. This is where you attack someone's character. Name calling can involve attack of character, but name calling, remember, is not just about people, it's about things, and you're labeling, right? Here, you're just saying bad things about people. And it always is attacking the person. It's not like saying nice things about them. It's actually trying to run down their character. And again, sometimes, people will try to distract us by saying, well, that person, smoked marijuana when they were 18, right? So you can't trust them. Well, if they're 53 now and they've not smoked a joint since, then you might say, well, why has that relevance? Why has that got relevance for what we're talking about today? Right? And even if they did smoke a joint today, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's a bad thing, right? So again, when people oftentimes don't have the ability to express and support their own ideas, or when there's nothing really good for them to say about it, they will try to distract us by throwing something out at us that we might be more concerned about, or that might again distract us, right? So, other than this person having this issue, or having maybe being a bad person, what is the merit of whatever it is that he is proposing? Transfer or guilt by association or glory by association. So transfer basically is that you're trying to transfer qualities from one thing onto another because they are associated or linked in some way. And it can be positive or negative. So guilt by association is the negative kind. So that basically means that, when somebody tries to argue that you can't trust Joe because he hangs out with Dawn, right? And Dawn is a criminal, right? Then they're trying to use guilt by association. Now, glory by association is the same thing, only it's positive. If they want you to trust them because they belong to a certain group, right? Yeah, vote for him because he's a member of the Elks Lodge, right? Or vote for him because his daddy is the head of that company. Or vote for him because he's married to your best friend, No, that doesn't mean anything in terms of how that person actually might be someone to support or whatever, right? And again, guilt by association is the same thing. Obviously, when people belong to certain groups or when they hang out with certain kind of people, that can indicate something about their character, whether it's good or bad. But that alone isn't enough, and you need to investigate to make sure that there really is something to be concerned about, and it's not just a piece of propaganda.